Hello, this is Jamie Magritte. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to do one card 3 ways. A simple stamping card, a casual crafter card, and an avid crafter card using Morningstar. And I'm using this stamp, You Are the Best, this stamp, this little one, and this little one. Okay, so let's get started. The only ink pads I'm going to be using is Blueberry Bushell and Old Olive. For the first card, get out what I need. I have them in the wrong order. Sorry. For the first card, I have a piece of Whisper White, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and I have a card base. This time it's Blueberry Bushell, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. This is the card we're going to be doing for the simple stamping card. It's really quite pretty and elegant, I think. Even though it's very simple, it is simple stamping at its finest. You could also do it this way if you'd rather and have it be in this corner. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in the sentiment. I don't know if you can see it. It says, "You are the best." I'm going to open up my ink pads. I need the Blueberry Bushell. And I'm going to ink up that sentiment and stamp it in this bottom corner here. Firm and even pressure. Just leave it sit for a minute. Make sure your ink transfers and you get a nice impression. Okay? Then I'm going to bring in this leafy vine. I'm going to ink that up in the Old Olive. That is what I'm using, right? Double check. Yes, Old Olive. I'm going to stamp that so that this leaf is right above the best. It kind of, this curve goes right around the U. Okay. And this is a distinctive stamp, so it does the detailing in there. I don't know if you can see it. It's really quite pretty. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the Morning Glory. I'm going to ink that up in the Blueberry Bushell. Blueberry Bushell is one of those in colors that's retiring. I'm going to turn this so that the base of it is close to my stem, not on it. And this little curly Q is down here in this bottom first little dent of this flower. Again, firm pressure, leave it in place, and lift up. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to come in with this little tiny one here. This does the stem of the flower, the Old Olive. I'm going to try and line that up to the center little thing of it in the center of the flower and attach the bottom to the stem. If you don't get it correct, just move over just a hair and fill in the white space. Okay? Now we're going to come back in with that leaf again. Ink that up. We're going to come over here on this side of it, and we're going to stamp that leaf again. Okay. And then we have this one little leaf, just 2 little leaves in a sprig. I'm going to pick that up and we're going to stamp that just above this little leaf here. So it kind of looks like it's, the stems of it are going behind that leaf. Perfect. Okay, there's the front of our card. I'm going to just use my snail for this one. Make sure I have it on my card so the card is opening correctly. Line up 3 sides. It's going to have that 1/8 of an inch border. And set my card down. And I'm going to turn it over and rub it so that in case any of that ink's wet, I don't smear it all over. There's our first card, our simple stamping card. Here's the one we just did together. Here's the one I did previously. Okay, so there's the first card. Now the second card, I have a piece of Whisper White, which is 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of Blueberry Bushell, which is 4 1/4. Oh wait, I've got these backwards. This is the 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to go on the front of our card, just like our previous one. Then I'm adding a layer. So I have a little bit shy of a 1/8 of a sheet. I cut off just a tiny bit, so it's 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. And then my Blueberry Bushell is 4 1/4 by 3 inches. So there's just a little bit of a border there. Okay, so now we're going to do the same stamping we did before on this piece. We're going to start with the sentiment. I found that to be the easiest, rather than trying to find a spot for it. So I'm going to do it down here on this bottom. Okay, then I'm going to come in with that green long vine. Again, I'm going to stamp it over here. Well, if you get ink on your block, make sure you wipe it off so you don't accidentally get it on your card. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my Morning Glory. Stamp it the same way I did before. The stem of the Morning Glory. Okay, then the long stem again. And the little leaves. Okay, now I'm going to layer it up onto here. This time I'm going to go ahead and use my wet glue. It just makes it easier to push those layers around. Again, this is clean, so turn it over, press it down, bring in our card front. Let's add this. Oh, I got a stamp on this layer still. Almost forgot. I'm going to come in with that long sprig. We're going to stamp around the edge. Start at the bottom. Then I'm going to use that same stamp and I'm going to fill in. I'm going to leave a few spaces that have less. I want some down here. A A few going up this way. And a few up here. Oh, I'm getting ink all over the block. More in this corner here. Okay, so basically I've made a frame around here. Okay, now I'm going to bring in some dimensionals. Put a few dimensionals on the back of this. And I'm going to center this piece on the center of that card front of that white piece we just stamped. Okay, then this is going to get mounted to the front of our card. And again, make sure your card is going the right direction. There's going to be that 1/8 of an inch border. Okay, then I made a bow using the denim ribbon. And I'm going to bring in a glue dot, and I'm going to add that bow to the top. Make sure this is straight. Looks crooked. Okay, there's card number 2, the Casual Crafter card. Here's the one I did previously. Okay. Now for the Avid Crafter, we're going to start with our card base. Again, it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Whisper White, which is 5 1/8, or 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Out of the center of it, I die cut this frame from Ornate Layers. Okay. So that's this one. Okay, then the next, instead of just cutting a square, I used the stitched rectangles, and it's the 5th one from the largest. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one here, the 5th one from the largest. I cut out that rectangle. That's what we're going to stamp our flower on. And then I took that rectangle and I literally put it on my card and cut it so that it's got the tiniest little bit of a border, like almost nothing. See? It's real hard to measure because it's not really an accurate measurement. See, it's between the 2 1/4 and 2 7 or 2 3/8, and for the other length it's between 3 3/4 and 3 5/8. Okay, so it's an odd size. I just wanted just the right amount of edge so that it didn't hide all those little holes that are in there. Okay, so let's do our stamping. Let's do this one first since we've got it here. We're going to go ahead and stamp all around the edge with this leaves. Basically just fill up the edge, give it some definition. some of it stamps off. Okay, set that aside. Now let's bring in this piece. We're going to do like we did before. I'm going to stamp our sentiment first, down at the bottom. Bring in our long stem. Ooh, ink everywhere this time. Let's try that again. Lighter touch. This time the stem has to go up a little higher because it can't quite fit where you want it to. Okay. Then we're going to come in with our flower. I'm going to stamp our flower. Do our stem just the same way we did before. You'll notice that stem doesn't quite line up with the, we'll fix that with that little leaf. Come in with the big leaves. I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to stamp this one twice. Okay. I'm going to come in with those little leaves. Cover up there where that stem doesn't touch. Okay. We're done with our stamping, so let's put this ink away. Okay, now we can assemble this card. We're going to mount this piece to our blue piece, our layer that we just cut out just a little bit larger than it. I'm going to bring in this piece, and this is going to get mounted onto that. And it's going to be just around where those little dots are, right in the center of it. Okay, this piece we'll put dimensionals on the back of. What did I do with my dimensionals? Get out another sheet. I know they're here somewhere, but rather than have you sit while I'm searching for them, let's get out a new sheet. Okay, let's mount this piece on. Let's make sure we've got this the right way. Yeah, okay. Put glue around the edge. There's going to be an 1/8 of an inch border around the edge, or 1/16 of an inch because it's a little bit smaller of a border than the other card. Okay, then we're going to take the backs off of these dimensionals. Let's center this up where that die cut came out from. And set it down. Okay, then we're going to bring in our bow and a glue dot. Add that to the top of our card. And there we go. There's our third card. Now you could add some bling to that if you wanted. I thought it was kind of pretty without it, so I didn't. Okay, so we've got 3 cards today. There's the Avid version, there's the casual version, and here's the beginner version. Well, thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you can find some time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper. I hope one of these versions you would enjoy playing with. Thanks. Have a great day.